You're watching News 3 Now, live at 4, moving forward.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Live at 4 on this Tuesday afternoon. The sun is out. 22 degrees. Not bad today.
Yeah, it's a little deceiving. I thought maybe I don't need a winter coat today. Plot twist, I did need a winter coat.
Yes, you definitely did. And we'll get an update on the forecast with Jacob Montesano in just a minute. But first at 4, we begin with continuing coverage of yesterday's string of car break-ins in eastern Dane County.
News 3 Now's Jalen Banks joins us with what authorities are now saying. Jalen.
Brady and Susan, the Monday night and the overnight hours, the first call that came in to the Dane County Sheriff's Office was just before 5 a.m. Authorities would receive a call about a stolen vehicle in the town of Christiana, which was from Madison. From then until 10 a.m., the Dane County Sheriff's Office would receive reports of break-ins into 2 homes and break-ins and damage to at least 7 vehicles. And the Sheriff's Office says incidents like we saw on Monday are rare for that part of the county.
I would tend to agree that this is very rare for that area. And one of the things that makes it rare is they weren't just breaking into cars that were left unlocked. They were smashing windows to get inside, to get at the valuables inside.
Additionally, Jefferson County received 40 calls of their own Monday morning for car and home break-ins. Both departments believe the incidents are related. Tonight at 5, we'll hear from a current Cambridge City official on what this means for the area.
We will see you at 5, Jalen. Thank you. An investigation is underway in the Mount Horeb School District that has resulted in the firing of a school coach. It's over concerns that the coach had inappropriate communications with students. A press release says officers learned of the situation on Friday. The district says it told police right away, adding that preventative measures are in place to make sure the coach is not on or around school property. Anyone with information related to this incident is asked to call Mount Horeb Police.
And now to the first warn forecast.
Well, we heard it from Jimmy yesterday. We're expecting an early spring. Doesn't feel like that today. It felt a little chillier. Maybe it was the wind, Jacob, but a little cooler today. The sun's nice, though.
Yeah, we have seen plenty of sunshine, and for those that have been wanting some warmer temperatures, they are just around the corner. Now, let's talk about the sunshine right now, because we're not the only area seeing very dry conditions. Expanding further out, just some very light flurries across parts of the Midwest. There is a system across the Ohio Valley, but a lot of Wisconsin very dry today, and we also will be very dry tomorrow. Now, temperatures still on the colder side. They did drop a few degrees compared to this time yesterday. Right now, the temperature is 20 in Madison. We are seeing some areas kind of staying in the teens throughout much of the day. The wind has been a little breezy, but not too bad. Wind chills kind of staying in the teens, but certainly it is cold. Still looking better compared to times last week, and it is going to get a lot better over the next couple of days. Now, like I mentioned, looking at that wind, kind of around 10 miles per hour for a lot of the region. Some areas seeing that calm winds, but it definitely will be noticeable if you do feel it breeze at the right time for you. Now, it is going to be a cold night. We will see low temperatures dropping into the single digits, some areas dropping below 0, but the winds by the overnight hours will be almost non-existent, so we're not expecting any wind chills colder than the actual temperatures, but still cold nonetheless. And tomorrow, not going to be a big difference from today. We'll see plenty of sunshine again, maybe a little bit more cloud cover at times, but for the most part, highs in the middle to lower 20s and plenty of sunshine. But starting Thursday, we may see those 30s return. We also may see some snow, and at some points in the forecast, we could even see some 40s return. So we may start to see some of those more, spring-like temperatures. Maybe 40s isn't necessarily spring-like, but for Wisconsin, when we've been in the teens, we'll take it, and it'll feel like spring-like. And I'll talk about when that could occur coming up a bit later.
40s, that's crazy talk.
We'll be so spoiled.
Yeah. All right, thank you, Jacob. Wisconsin is celebrating 100 years of Black history at the state capitol.
The Black Legislative Caucus hosted a kickoff event today. Tanisha Shaw is covering how elected officials are honoring Black History Month.
These drums are rooted in soul and history. Madison students from One City School performed at the Capitol to celebrate 100 years of Black history with the Legislative Black Caucus.
It gives me the determination to try new things and pretty much just be the best version of myself, because if they're able to do it, I'm able to do it.
Elected officials hope that this event will honor Black history, like the music that you're hearing behind me, and by paving the way for the next 100 years.
While it is 100 years and we have made tremendous gaps, I still see ways of improvement and growth that we need to do, but I'm celebrating the here and the now for 100 years because we stand on the shoulders of great individuals who paved the way for me to even be allowed to stand here or be elected.
Black history is like people who look like me achieving things that I might be able to achieve one day. So it makes me like really proud to be who I am and what I look like.
Reporting in Madison, Tanasia Shaw, News 3 Now.
Thank you, Tanasia. Students at UW-Whitewater will soon get to major in artificial intelligence. The AI major integrates computer science, mathematics, psychology, and philosophy so students can build the skills for a career in AI. UW-Whitewater is among the early adopters within the UW system. UW system president Jay Rothman says AI is already reshaping classrooms, research labs, and administrative work all across the 13 universities, and a new push aims to expand that impact on students and Wisconsin's economy.
It's in those things that are repetitive, that are rote, that we can now automate and get answers faster and more productively, which allow our human beings who are working either as students or as researchers or as administrators do more with the time that they have. And that's what's exciting about this, because that's where I think the applications really drive value.
Rothman says the system is focused on making students AI literate while still emphasizing critical thinking, ethics, and problem solving.
Well, News 3 Now at SSM Health's Time for Kids, a Recipe for Health campaign continues, and we're kicking off February with a new theme, Love Your Heart for a Lifetime. This week's tip, walk, run, play, do whatever kind of exercise you can for a strong heart. SSM Health pediatric cardiologist Dr. Bruce Hahn says the habits that kids build now can shape their heart health for decades. Regular activity in childhood strengthens the heart, lowers blood pressure, and reduces the risk of heart attacks and stroke later in life. Dr. Hahn says all young children, including infants and preschool-age kids, should be active every day as much as they can. Guidelines recommend children ages 6 to 17 get 30 to 60 minutes of activity daily, but it doesn't have to happen all at once.
In terms of the key to making sure that they're active enough is trying to find something that they enjoy. Making sure that being active is not necessarily a chore, but it's fun. And it's supposed to be fun. It's supposed to, kids should be getting out, staying active. They should start to move away from screens and always being tied to their phones and just going outside. Or if we are stuck inside, trying to have fun with the family.
Beyond heart health, Dr. Hahn says regular movement boosts mental health, brain development, and strong bones, all benefits that last well into adulthood. And here are a few fun suggestions to get your kids active every day. You can dance to your favorite songs, run in place during commercial breaks, Brady, of your favorite show, or between episodes, bundle up for a family ice skating trip, or even just take a walk around the block. Kids can help clean around the house. There you go. That burns energy. Bonus points for this activity.
Well, we are taking a little break, so get your run in place on. When we come back, you might be wondering, do your kids come home with too much energy after school? A bill in the Wisconsin State Legislature might help by asking for more time for recess.
And then after a 2-year hiatus due to weather conditions, the Frozen Assets Festival is back on Lake Mendota. Josh is in the 608 with a preview of what the festival has to offer this year.
And UW Health's Dr. Jeff Potoff joins us later on to talk about the most recent measles case at UW-Madison. Should you get a booster vaccination? How likely is it to spread? And which measures are being put in place by health officials to keep it contained?
You're watching News 3 Now live at 4, moving forward.
Well, we're looking ahead to the Frozen Assets Festival, making its return this weekend in the 608.
Josh Spreiter is in Madison with a preview.
We're outside the Edgewater as the Clean Lakes Alliance gets excited for the Frozen Assets Festival, making its return right here on the frozen lakes of Madison. James Ty is joining us. James, good to see you.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me out.
You know, this is such a fun event, and this year you guys are super excited because our frozen assets are super frozen. The lakes are solid, and you're ready to go.
Yeah, we've been drilling the lake. We've got 12 to 14 inches thick already, and keeps on building.
What makes frozen assets unique for Madison? Because this is an event that continues to grow year after year.
Yeah, so Madison, our lakes truly are our frozen assets. So when the lakes are frozen, they're our largest parks. Everybody can get out there. But we're also using this to raise money for the Clean Lakes Alliance. And so we have a run walk, and if you sign up, we got 100 of these hats left today. So you better sign up. It's a little bobble hat.
There you
can
go.
get that for registration. You can run, you can walk, you can skate. You also can be timed run time. So if you don't want to think you want to like run around, you can take a leisurely walk on Lake Mendota.
And it's really about getting the community together and celebrating what makes Madison so special, even in the middle of February. I mean, this is so cool.
Yeah, it's a big party on the ice, which we're so glad to have, sponsored by organizations like C.G. Schmidt, Oak Park Dental, MG&E, Alliant, but it's really the community coming together. So we've got skydivers, large kites, free hot chocolate, skating, ice fishing. There's an ice lab coming. We also have indoor activities like crafts for kids, movies. If you don't want to go outside, get a reservation at the State House restaurant, or you can go down to the boathouse down by the pier. But really, we've got something here for everybody.
And that's what's so amazing in really giving back to what you guys have for a mission in the community. And it's making sure that we can continue to enjoy what makes Madison so special.
Yeah, you know, really it's going to take everybody to work on the lakes. Everybody has a role to play. So we want to reduce the amount of phosphorus coming from runoff into our lakes. So everything that you can do year round to reduce the amount of water going to the lakes is going to really help them during the summer.
And now's the time to get together and celebrate it this weekend.
Yeah, come one, come all, lots of parking, come on down, lots of food, lots of free things, all here at the Edgewater Hotel.
Awesome. Well, James, thanks so much for your time today. We appreciate it.
My pleasure.
And if you'd like to learn more about the Frozen Assets Festival, you can go to the story up on channel3000.com. Outside the Edgewater, I'm Josh Spreiter, News 3 Now.
Thank you, Josh, and James as well. You can find Josh every weekday morning at noon right here on News 3 Now.
And it looks like it's going to be a beautiful day for the Frozen Assets Festival this weekend, paired with a 35-degree Friday, Jacob. Wow.
Yeah, it's going to be just about perfect conditions because although temperatures might get a little above freezing at points Thursday and Friday, the ice right now is so solidified because of how cold it's been that it ain't going to melt anytime soon, and we're not expecting those temperatures to be well above freezing. So looking at the three things you need to know, we'll see 20s again for tomorrow with some snow moving in Thursday, but that will mostly be early. By the afternoon, we are going to see the 30s return, and at other points in the forecast, probably not Thursday, we could see some 40s return. So let's first talk about the cold air that's going to continue for the next 24 hours. Tonight, we will see low temperatures dropping into the single digits, maybe below zero for some areas. But like I mentioned earlier, there's going to be basically no wind, so we're not concerned about wind chills being colder than the actual temperatures. But it still will be cold, and tomorrow will be very similar to today, maybe a few degrees warmer with a good amount of sunshine, highs in the middle to lower 20s. Then comes Thursday, where we are going to see some snow. So this is starting Wednesday afternoon. Once we get to Wednesday night, we are going to see clouds roll in, and by the time we get to Thursday morning, here comes some snow showers. We're not expected to see much. The best chance of snow will be for areas to the east and northeast of Madison, maybe an inch or two for some areas, but otherwise certainly going to see less than an inch for most of the region, and far southwest Wisconsin may not see any snow from this. And then there's another possibility of some passing snow showers Thursday night into early Friday. Once again, best chance of snow will be for areas to the east of Madison, and this is also not expected to produce much accumulation, with maybe some flurries continuing for Friday, but the chance of snow Friday not too great. And looking at the accumulation forecast, like I mentioned, most of the region will see less than an inch, maybe around 1 to 2 for some areas further to the northeast, but even those areas, this snow will not be too impactful. Now here's a full look at the 7 to 10 day forecast. Temperature wise, we'll be in the 30s for Thursday and Friday. We'll drop a little bit for Saturday Saturday, where highs will be in the 20s. Then pretty much all of next week will feature highs in the 30s, and specifically Tuesday, that looks like it will be the warmest day, where we could see some highs in the 40s. Now, over the next 7 days, outside of that light snow that I talked about for Thursday and Thursday night, we're really not going to see much, but there is some suggestions that there will be a little bit more of an active pattern beginning for the middle of next week, but a lot could still change between now and then.
And mild enough to enjoy that snow. That's good. Thank you, Jacob. Coming up on Live at 4, President Trump wants to nationalize elections in the U.S., what that means and whether he has the power to do so.
And Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem says all ICE agents will be given body cameras. However, a sheriff in Minnesota says much more needs to be done.
And then the government is nearly back open again after the House voted on a massive funding package. After President Trump signs the agreement, all affected agencies will be open again, but DHS funding comes with some strings attached.
And your student could be getting some more time on the playground thanks to a bill in the Wisconsin State Legislature. How much time and what that could mean for their time in the classroom.
You're watching News 3 Now, live at 4, moving forward.
Let's see how stocks are faring on this Tuesday afternoon. Down across the board at the close and in the red. The Dow closed down 166 points. The Nasdaq was off 336 and the S&P 500 dropped nearly 60.
It's been more than 48 hours since Savannah Guthrie's mother was taken from her home in Tucson, Arizona. The Pima County Sheriff had no new updates today, but says authorities are chasing many leads. A law enforcement source tells CBS News a little bit of blood was found at Guthrie's Tucson home, but the sheriff would not clarify if it was inside or outside. He says there were signs of forced entry, but so far DNA samples are not indicating a suspect.
Local officials in Minneapolis say federal agents are continuing their immigration crackdown.
Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem says all ICE agents will now be given body cameras.
Nicole Skanga spoke with one sheriff who says much more needs to be done.
After weeks of protests and 2 deaths, the Trump administration seemed to signal it was ready to de-escalate in Minneapolis. But Hennepin County Sheriff Dewana Witt says the federal presence here remains unchanged.
Have you seen evidence of a drawdown?
Have not seen it yet.
Last week, Border Czar Tom Homan vowed a reduction in the number of federal agents in Minneapolis if local officials gave immigration agents more access to county jails. Witt says she sat down with Homan and is willing to compromise.
I hear you saying you're considering notifying ICE when someone will be released, which would be a change.
I could say that there's been conversations had, in my opinion, truly the worst of the worst, murder, rape, things like that. I do think that we need to have further conversations.
For now, 3,000 immigration officers continue to fan out across the Twin Cities, expanding operations into the suburbs.
They are seriously, attacking me.
Footage obtained by NPR News taken last Thursday shows a woman in St. Peter, Minnesota, being stopped by federal agents who immediately drew their weapons. In a statement, the Department of Homeland Security called the woman an agitator, saying officers arrested her after she'd been stalking law enforcement. Sheriff Witt says tactics by some federal agents have damaged the community's relationship with all law enforcement.
It's ridiculous, and we do not need our community thinking that that is the way that law enforcement is supposed to be.
Other news, the House narrowly passed a funding package to end the partial government shutdown, sending the bill to President Trump's desk where he signed it just moments ago. In the House, the vote was 217 to 214. The legislation includes 5 full-year spending bills and only a short-term funding extension for the Department of Homeland Security, as Democrats demand reforms to immigration enforcement policies following federal agents fatally shooting 2 Minneapolis residents.
Body cameras must be required by law and masks must come off. Judicial warrants are a requirement, not a suggestion.
I'm happy to report Republicans got the job done. Our majority worked together and we got the bills over the line.
Now that the measure has passed, Democrats have less than 2 weeks to reach a deal with Republicans about reforming ICE before funding for Homeland Security runs out. Ahead of the vote, 22 House Democrats protested outside ICE headquarters, calling for Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem to step down and ICE be dismantled.
President Trump says Republicans should take over the voting process and nationalize it.
The president continues to claim elections are being stolen despite having never been able to prove those claims in court. Natalie Brand reports from the White House.
With 9 months until the midterm elections, President Trump suggested Republicans should take over voting procedures in certain places, speaking on a podcast with former Deputy FBI Director Dan Bongino.
The Republicans should say, we want to take over. We should take over the voting in at least 15 places. The Republicans ought to nationalize the voting.
The White House says the president was calling for Congress to pass GOP election legislation, which would require citizenship documentation to register to vote.
I don't think any rational person who's being honest with themselves would disagree with the idea of requiring citizens of this country to present an ID before casting a ballot in a federal election.
Elections experts say research shows voter fraud is extremely rare, and the Constitution gives states the authority to run elections. Congress also has the ability to alter elections rules, but not the president.
It's a system that works well so long as the states make it a priority to ensure the integrity of our elections.
Democratic Senator Mark Warner called the president's latest comments a pretext to conduct what he fears could be unprecedented federal intrusion into elections.
This threat to our election security, the basic premise of our democracy, is forward-looking to 2026 and to 2028.
Warner also expressed concerns about the director of national intelligence, Tulsi Gabbard, being involved in an FBI raid on the Fulton County, Georgia Election Center last week over 2020 records. Natalie Brand, CBS News, the White House.
And CBS News has also learned that Gabbard arranged a call between the president and the FBI agents who carried out the Fulton County election raid.
Coming up on News 3, our Live at 4, we are learning more about a new scam that is circulating in Beloit. What to be on the lookout for.
And a bill for more recess is working its way through the state legislature. How much students already get, how much they're asking for, and what this could mean for classes.
Then it's one of the largest events in American sports, and millions watch it every year. Yeah, of course, we're talking about the Puppy Bowl. We learn how Wisconsin is being represented in the event.
You're watching News 3 Now, live at 4, moving forward.
Good afternoon. Welcome to Live at 4. We are looking ahead to the Frozen Assets Festival, and it seems like it's going to be a very comfortable week leading up to it.
Timing is perfect.
Yeah.
Let's take a look outside today. All is quiet in the weather department. Nice to see that sunshine, and the weather words, 30-degree weather soon. Yay. We're turning a corner here, Jacob. We're getting there.
Yeah, and as we take a look at the last 2 weeks temperature-wise, you could see just why it's going to be a good weekend for the festival, as we are going to be seeing the temperatures warming up. But because it's been so cold, the ice is very solidified. And these are the high temperatures over the last 2 weeks. You could see the last couple of days starting to go in the right direction. Now, temperatures today, they actually did drop a little bit compared to yesterday, but they are still in the 20s for most of the region. 20 right now in Madison. Some areas have been hanging on to the teens, but other areas like the Dells actually getting close to 30. Now, as we take a look at the overnight temperatures, it's going to get pretty cold tonight. We'll see lows dropping into the single digits at least. Some areas may drop below 0, but we're not going to see much wind, if any wind, I should point out. So these temperatures will be the exact, or the wind chills will be the exact same as the actual temperatures. And then tomorrow will be very similar. We'll have highs in the 20s, plenty of sunshine, so kind of a rinse and repeat forecast from today. But starting Thursday, we are going to see the potential for 30s to return. And then at some points, the forecast, we could even see some 40s return. So I'll talk more in detail about that coming up a bit later.
All right, sounds good, Jacob. Thank you. Well, here's a question for you. How much time do you think your kids should have for recess when they're at school? According to a Republican bill in the legislature, the answer should be an hour.
Political reporter Ellie LaLiberte introduces us to 2 Madison moms lobbying for more recess time for children in school.
We
know that our child needs it, our students need it.
We want to foster curiosity in kids.
Allison Grigg and Victoria Carey are co-leaders for Wisconsin's chapter of Say Yes to Recess. They helped introduce this bill.
Our goal is to get 60 minutes of unstructured outdoor recess in Wisconsin schools.
Under current Wisconsin law, schools have to provide a certain number of instructional hours. And right now, only up to 30 minutes a day of recess can count towards those hours.
I realized it wasn't a district policy, it wasn't a school policy, it was a state policy.
This bill would allow an hour to count towards that requirement for kindergarten through 6th grade.
This is part of our efforts to help with mental health. This is part of our efforts to create a community.
This legislation would also require that students are not allowed to use electronics during recess and prohibit schools from taking away recess as a part of punishment. Reporting in Madison, Ellie La Liberté, News 3 Now.
Thank you, Ellie. Both the Senate and the Assembly versions of this bill have been referred to their respective committees, but have not been heard yet.
An investigation is underway at the Mount Horeb School District that has resulted in the firing of a school coach. It's over concerns the coach had inappropriate communications with students. A news release says officers learned of the situation on Friday. The district says it told police right away, adding preventative measures are in place to make sure the coach is not on or around school property. Anyone with information related to this incident is urged to call Mount Horeb Police.
Now to a scam warning in Beloit. Police say someone is claiming to work for Spectrum and scamming multiple people. The scam works like this. The suspect calls claiming that you can reduce your monthly bill if you buy a new phone. Once the victim receives the phone, they're told to mail it back to the company to activate the account and provide a return label. Police say the return labels go to P.O. boxes with no connection at all to Spectrum. The end result, victims buy legitimate phones but still get billed by Spectrum. If you have any information, please call Beloit Police immediately.
Also in Beloit, the city and town could soon consolidate their fire and EMS services. The town's Board of Supervisors and the City Council have both approved a proposal to explore the idea, saying it could help relieve financial and staffing issues that both communities are facing. The city and town will now take the next 6 months to evaluate the feasibility of consolidating, operational models, staffing equipment, and ways to ensure equal governance. Leaders say they may also look into grant funding to support the process.
Well, some Wisconsin athletes will be brought into the national spotlight this week. They'll be showcased on a program that gets an average of 13 million views. We're talking about
INKMAN.
Animal Planet's Puppy Bowl. Underdog Pet Rescue had 2 of its puppies picked to play in the bowl. The group was invited to New York, where the dogs spent the day wrestling and playing with other adoptable pups on the big game's turf.
So the Puppy Bowl reached out to us, and last year we got to submit footage of one of our puppies, and this year they invited us to come out. So we had 2 of our adoptable puppies come out and participate in the 2026 Puppy Bowl.
One of the pups, Anson, is deaf, but Lauren says that hasn't slowed him down at all. And we should note, the dog that Lauren was holding there is not one of the puppies in the bowl, unfortunately. You saw that sweet yawn, and everybody probably said, I want him. But Laszlo, that's his name, is available for adoption as well. To celebrate Anson and Avro's big TV moment, Underdog is hosting a family-friendly Puppy Bowl watch party at its South Stoughton Road clinic, complete with a cookout and games and a chance to meet the dogs. And look at that face.
Look at that cutie.
And learn more about the rescue. That's the perfect freeze frame.
A local nonprofit is launching a new project to celebrate Madison's history, and you can be a part of it. It coincides with the 250th anniversary of our nation's founding. Whose Land is partnering with the Madison Public Library to build a collective history of Greater Madison. You can share your own stories. This can be of your home or former work site. You will also use Whose Land's digital story map platform.
We're hoping that as people do their own histories, you know, their own kind of passion projects, that in the process of doing it, they will also learn about the Black history of certain neighborhoods that used to be here, the indigenous history, etc.
In July, the archives will be brought to life in a series of events called Make History Madison, all in conjunction with local 250th celebrations.
The first round of voting in this year's Best of Madison in Madison Magazine is now underway. Through the entire month of February, you can nominate any person, place, or activity in a wide variety of categories. And it doesn't have to be just in Madison either. Nominees can be from around Dane County and other surrounding counties like Dodge, Rock, and Columbia. This round is write-in only, and you can only vote once per day in each category per valid email address. Celebrate the best of business in Madison, by the way, at our annual luncheon at it's on February 27th at the Concourse Hotel, and you can find all the details and purchase tickets at madisonmagazine.com/Best of Business.
Very nice. Good luck, everyone. Well, next on Live at 4, after it was declared eliminated in the U.S., we've had a series of measles outbreaks around the country.
Today, we'll talk with UW Health's Dr. Jeff Potoff about a case discovered in a UW-Madison student. How concerned should we all be? Who is at risk? And what is the best action moving forward?
And then some people might see it as thrifty, while others might call it cheap. We're talking about an arcade that is helping people find engagement rings with, get this, a claw machine this Valentine's Day.
You're watching News 3 Now, live at 4, moving forward.
Well, we're giving the weather satellite a spin. That's a nice shot tonight. That's a live look at Baltimore, Maryland. 37 degrees and cloudy there. They've had a lot of snow on the East Coast recently. Your fun fact, the Battle of Baltimore during the War of 1812 inspired Francis Scott Key to write our national anthem, the Star-Spangled Banner. There's your trivia tip for the day. Well, a confirmed case of measles on the UW-Madison campus is prompting concern in our area, but health officials say most people are protected if they're vaccinated. The student lives in an off-campus apartment and may have contracted the highly contagious virus while traveling overseas. It's been a minute since we've seen UW Health's Dr. Jeff Potoff. Good to have you back with us.
Good to see you.
Yeah, good to see you as well. So how concerned are you about this? This is the second positive measles case in the state. Are you concerned about it, and how concerned should the rest of us be about it?
Yeah, I think there's always some risk there because we're a fairly under-vaccinated state, which means that even in Dane County, where there is more vaccination, there could be people who were out in public who came in contact with this individual who had measles, and that means 9 out of 10 of them have a good chance of coming down with the disease. I think the important thing to do right now is just really robust contact tracing, find those individuals who could have come in contact, see if they're vaccinated or not, and if they're not vaccinated, get them to quarantine so that they don't end up spreading the disease to more people.
Most of us get the measles, mumps, rubella vaccine when we're babies.
Yep.
So what do you do if you don't know if you've been vaccinated?
Yeah, there's a few things you can do. So if you were born in Wisconsin, Wisconsin has a great Wisconsin immunization registry. As a person, you can go online and look it up. It'll tell you when you got your MMR vaccine. If you were vaccinated in a different state, you might have to go look at that state. Let's say you can't find it anywhere. You can talk to your doctor's office and you can get serologies. You can actually get a blood test that says, yep, looks like you were vaccinated against measles. Those are different ways you can figure it out.
And if you've been vaccinated, you have nothing to worry about.
Yep, if you've been vaccinated, we really aren't too worried about you. The vaccine, if you've got those 2 doses, 97% effective against preventing you from getting measles. So you kind of get a pass. It's okay if you were in the same location as this individual.
Do older people need boosters, or once you're vaccinated, you're good?
Most people don't need a booster. There's a period of time when the vaccine first became available in the 1960s where you might need a booster. So if you're in that group, I don't know the exact date range, but 1960, 1965, maybe talk to your primary care doctor, but most of us are completely covered.
What are the symptoms of this? And if you're exposed, how soon do symptoms present themselves?
Great question. So symptoms will usually present anywhere from 7 days after exposure to 21 days after exposure. Most likely though, 13, 14 days after exposure. The first symptoms you're going to have are going to feel a lot like a cold. So you're going to get a runny nose, you're going to get a cough, you might get some watery, itchy red eyes, fever, you might feel a little bit punky and not have much appetite. That'll go on for anywhere from like 2 to 5 days, and then you'll get the rash. And the rash will typically start on your forehead or your face and work its way down. That's one of the things that's somewhat characteristics of measles, is that the rash will often start on the head.
And once the rash appears, if you haven't been vaccinated, can you get vaccinated at that point?
No, so that's the thing. Like, once you're exposed to measles, it's kind of too late. You're just going to take your chances. But with measles in the community, if you're not vaccinated, a really good time to think about, do I really want to take my chances with measles, or do I just want to go get vaccinated and not have to worry about this? Whether I get sick, I go to the hospital, or even having to quarantine for like 2 weeks. Like, who wants to do that?
Yeah. So what is your main message for people who might have concerns or questions about it?
Yeah, I think people who are listening who are downtown Madison, maybe they've gone to the Public Health Madison Dane County website. They're like, hey, I was at Qdoba, like, what should I do? I think the one thing you could do is you could call Public Health Madison Dane County and get some advice there. If you were there and you're unvaccinated, you might want to consider quarantining. It's usually you quarantine from 7 days after exposure, so you start on day 7 and you go to day 21, it's 14 days. But these are all questions you can ask the Public Health Department about how to stay safe. If this was like too close for comfort and you're like, boy, I'm a little bit worried about measles, think about getting vaccinated. If you're vaccinated, this is not a big deal. It all goes away.
And the UW is targeting areas. I think they've already reached out to about 4,000 people who may have come in contact with this person. Yeah. So heads up, and be aware. Dr. Potoff, it's so great to see you.
Same.
Good to have you back.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Don't stay away too long this time.
Try not to.
Okay. It was a quiet day with some sunshine and cool today. Do we have any snow? Any big systems in our immediate future? Let's check in with Jacob. He's watching the forecast.
Well, we have some snow, but certainly nothing too big, especially over the next 7 days. But what we will see over the next 7 days is a return of the 30s and maybe even some 40s at times. Now let's talk about that chance of snow. This is starting Wednesday afternoon tomorrow. Now, once we get towards the overnight hours, we'll see plenty of cloud cover, but we'll see more sunshine during the day tomorrow. Then as we get closer to Thursday morning, we'll see some snow showers move through the area, especially for areas to the east and northeast of Madison. The further west you are, the less likely you will see snow. And then we're going to see a second round of this possible snowfall once we get later into Thursday night and into Friday morning. Kind of the same setup where the best chance will be for areas to the east of Madison. That both systems will clear up very quickly. And looking at how much accumulation is expected, most of the region will see less than an inch, maybe around 1 to 2 further northeast. And as I mentioned, places to the southwest, not as likely to see snow. And it's very possible you don't see any. Now, looking at the precipitation chances beyond that, and I'm including the chance of rain or snow because temperatures will be warm enough to where we could potentially see some rain mix in. But outside of Thursday and Thursday night, we're really going to be very dry over the next 7 days through the first half of next week. But we may start to see some more active weather kind of move into our region starting during the middle of next week. So the next 7 days looking pretty dry outside that snow chance I talked about, but maybe a little bit more precipitation. Sometimes some in the form of rain, some in the form of snow. And the reason I say that is because temperatures will be right on that fringe level, as we'll see plenty of highs in the 30s next week. And Tuesday specifically, we could even see the high get into the lower 40s for some areas. So certainly looking better temperature wise. And at least over the next 7 days, it's going to be pretty quiet. Super Bowl Sunday looking very quiet. I know it's more of an inside event day, but still looking quiet nonetheless. And then as we get towards the middle of next week, that's when the pattern may start to shift a little bit. But right now, not expecting those temperatures to cool back down much.
All right, thank you, Jacob. 36% of all people say Valentine's Day is the most romantic day to propose. But what if you don't have a ring this year?
Well, all you have to do is go to Dave & Buster's, the arcade and eatery. I don't know if they're doing this here, but at the one in Dallas, they're offering you a chance to win an engagement ring in a claw machine. The brand is transforming its human crane into a one-of-a-kind engagement moment by placing 5 $15,000 3-carat diamond engagement rings in the machine. The chances start at just $20 a piece, so you never know, it might be worth the 1,000-mile drive.
Yeah. Wouldn't that be a fun story? Where'd you get your ring from? A crane game?
Yes, how romantic. Well, still to come at 4, it's the afternoon sprint where we're covering the biggest stories of the day, plus a final look at the forecast. It's 4:53, time for the afternoon sprint.
An investigation is underway at the Mount Horeb School District, and it's resulted in the firing of a school coach. It's over concerns the coach had inappropriate communications with students. A news release says officers learned of the situation on Friday, adding preventative measures are in place to make sure the coach is not on or around school property.
The House narrowly passed a funding package today to end the partial government shutdown, sending the bill to President Trump's desk, and the president has signed it. Now that the measure is passed, Democrats have less than 2 weeks to reach a deal with Republicans about reforming ICE before funding for Homeland Security runs out.
New details in Monday's string of car break-ins in eastern Dane County. Yesterday, the Dane County Sheriff's Office received reports of break-ins and damage to at least 7 cars and 2 homes. Additionally, Jefferson County received 40 similar calls. Both departments believe the incidents are related.
And here's a look at your 10-day forecast. We are going to see the chance of snow on Thursday, pretty light snow for most of the area. Beyond that, we're really not going to see much precipitation through early next week, but then for the middle of next week, we may start to see a little bit more of an active pattern take place, but a lot can still change between now and then. We also will see plenty of 30s over the next 10 days.
Nice temperatures, enough to get out and enjoy the snow. That's good. All
and
right.
plus, because of how cold it was, that ice is still very solidified, and so it's a good weekend for the ice festival we were talking about.
Frozen assets on Lake Mendota.
Oh, here we go. It'll be a fun time. We're back with what we're working on for News 3 Now at 5 after this. Coming up at 5, a little more than half of American adults who could benefit from cholesterol medication are actually taking it. We learn about which issues could develop if you ignore your cholesterol numbers. And we're celebrating Black History Month with a series of stories in our community. Today we learn about a nonprofit bringing Ivy League learning to Dane County. Thanks for watching us today on Live at 4. We'll see you back here tomorrow. You can always find us streaming 24/7 on Channel 3000+. News 3 Now at 5 starts right now.